Yo, so I was tagged by Laura, Manga Hoarder, to participate in this MangaTube tag. It's been years since I've done a tag video. It's been years since I've done anything. Let's face it. So, no, thank you for tagging me. That was really nice of you. I've got a list of questions here. I haven't really put much thought into this. I'm just gonna kind of ad-lib the whole thing, really. These are kind of questions that I've answered before in previous tag videos, but given that it's been 3 or 4 years, some of the answers might have changed. So I guess let's just see how I answer them. Question 1: introduce yourself. My name's Adam. I'm 29 plus 1 years old. Well, similarly with Laura's video, I don't really like talking about myself. That's all I'll say on that. When did you start reading manga? When did I start reading tankobon manga? That was the 24th of December 2003. Now I remember that because that's when my mum bought me my first manga, or my first tankobon manga, which was Dragon Ball Z Volume 8, and also Volume 10 and Volume 11. Now, I'd already been really interested in Dragon Ball Z prior to getting these, and I had some of the single issue, like comic book style Dragon Ball Z manga that Viz used to put out like in the late 90s. So I had some of those, but and some of the Dragon Ball ones as well. But it was when I first read a tankobon, when was able to kind of binge through it. That's the date that I consider that I really first started getting interested in collecting, because I wanted the rest of them. I mean, this was the first printing, so yeah, May 2003. And I had these 3 volumes for about 6 months, and I just kept reading them, rereading them, drawing panels out of them, just trying to get as much as I possibly could out of them. And then once I got my first little job in a newsagent stacking shelves, and I got my first wage, that's when I went to my local Forbidden Planet and was able to afford to pick up 1 volume here and there. I was picking maybe 1 volume up every 3 or 4 months. It was difficult. And at that point, all of Dragon Ball Z wasn't released over here in the West. I think at the point that I got those, I think only volume 13 or 14 was the most up to date. And obviously, considering that there's 26 volumes of the series, once I caught up, when I got the first 15 volumes, then it was about waiting for the actual official releases. And obviously back then there wasn't digital subscriptions and things like that you could subscribe to. There was there was the Shonen Jump magazines, that Viz released, but that didn't really cut it for me. I was only interested in Dragon Ball Z at that point. So yeah, and then it was really, I think from then up until maybe about the age of 17. So 2007, I think it was when the final volume 26 of Dragon Ball Z came out, and then my collection was finished. And then it was soon after that I got into things like Naruto, and I'd already had an interest in One Piece. I was watching the One Piece anime from 15 when it was on Toonami. But yeah, no, I was 13. Yeah, I was 13 when I started like reading manga in like the format that we all know and love. So wow, that's a long time ago. Question 3: what is your favorite genre? Now, I'm really open-minded. I will pretty much read anything. A lot of manga that I've bought over the years has been purely on blind buys, based on just the cover or the artwork, or the fact that it might have been in a deluxe hardcover edition, which I'm a real sucker for. There isn't really any genre that I avoid. if I had to say what my least favorite genre was, it wouldn't be my least favorite given based on dislike, but probably based on how little of it I've read, and that's romance. I haven't read really any romance. I've read manga that have romance elements in them, but not a specific, a series that's specifically tailored to romance. And I guess what I've most read is really kind of like adventure series, fantasy. I love horror. To be honest, that's such a subjective question, and I think to really have one categorical one categorical favorite genre, you'd have to be dedicated solely to that one genre and not really want to go outside of that niche. Because I'm so open-minded, it doesn't really allow for much scope in having a favorite genre. So fortunately, I don't have a clear-cut answer for that, and my tastes change and fluctuate from year to year. So no, I don't have a favorite genre. I just like reading manga. All right, the next question 4. How do you read manga? Digital, physical, library, etc.? Mostly physical. I'm a real advocate for buying and reading books physically. I like the feel of it. I like the experience. I like the smell, as weird as that sounds. I don't think really anything can beat reading a book physically for me. And I like having a library. I've got a bookmark that says a room without books is like a body without a soul, and I really stick by that. That's kind of like my ethos for collecting. It's also having a nice bookshelf is also decorative. It really brings a room to life. So yeah, I much prefer reading manga physically. The only digital manga that I read is on the Weekly Shonen Jump app. And even then, it's only One Piece that I keep up to date with. I don't read manga digitally at all, really. The only consideration to reading manga digitally is if I can't get it, if it's not available, if it's out of print. For example, Twin Speaker. Some of the volumes for that are nigh on impossible to get. Same with Bokurano Hours. I know Twin Speaker, I think, is available on Comixology, so as I want to get around to reading that, I may have to purchase some of the volumes digitally, which really I don't really want to have to do. But if I enjoyed the series enough that I really want to continue with it, then I'll have no real other option. And I'm not the kind of person who will spend in excess of a certain amount on one volume. So that's that. Question 5. Your favourite manga? Again, similarly with my favourite genre, I don't particularly have a favourite. I have, I guess you could say, a top 10 manga that kind of circulate around, in what I would consider my favourite. But I guess if you ask me today, I could give you one series, and you ask me tomorrow, I could give you something completely different. I can give you examples of series that hold a special place in my heart and that I would always probably, place in my top 10. Berserk, Parasite, 20th Century Boys. Recently, I really fell in love with Message to Adolf, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Let's see. Well, I'm just looking on my shelf here. Blam, that was a recent one that I fell in love with. By Omega, that's fantastic. Yotsuba. Wow, there's just so many to choose from. A Drunken Dream and Other Stories was probably my favourite short story collection by Moto Hagio. That was fantastic. Vagabond, Vinland Saga, Battle Angel Alita, that was another recent series that I fell in love with. Monster. I could go on all day. I mean, I think that's more than 10 series already, so that's why it's so difficult making top 10 lists, because you just have to make necessary sacrifices in order to kind of accommodate the list. But again, it's not such an easy question to answer because there's just so many good quality series with such fantastic writing, that there's just no unanimous series that just stands above the rest for me. It's just there's just a collection of manga that I just really love for different reasons, some for the same reasons. So again, I can't give a clear-cut answer on that, and even if I did, you ask me next week, it could be something completely different. Question 6, what types of videos do you make? Well, if you're a long-time viewer of my channel, you'll know that I was on hiatus for a while, for a good couple of years. Prior to that, it was similar videos really that I'm starting to make again now. Haul videos, collection videos, reviews, manga reviews, anime reviews, discussions, tag videos. The original purpose of the channel was really to kind of get focused on my art, so like time-lapse drawing videos, but that kind of fell by the wayside, and I really don't have time to dedicate to that at the moment. And I didn't for many years. I've only got like about 3 or 4 videos that have anything to do with my art. And that was really, that was really it. I mean, I've got enough manga and I've read enough series to really sustain having quite a lot of reviews on my channel, if I so wished. There's, some series that I've been dying to review for years, and now that it's gotten to this stage where I'm making videos again, I probably have to reread those series to refresh my memory. So they're the kind of videos that I used to make, and I'm getting back into making those videos again. I'm trying to think of a way to switch up my reviewing style before I actually go into making reviews, because I want to make sure that my reviews, any review videos that I make for specific manga series, are I'm happy with, and I don't look back on and think, I forgot to mention this, or actually I don't really agree with what I said here. I just said it just to fill time. So for now, the only time I'm really talking about manga is in I'm going to be doing monthly wrap-up videos of things that I've been reading, that are on my TBR. Question 7. What do you hope people will get out of your channel? Now, I make content really as a hobby for myself, if that makes sense. I do this to kind of fill the void of time. Obviously now, with the lockdown and everything like that, it's really accommodated the need for me to be able to get back into YouTube again, because it's just, I've got so much free time, which before I didn't. But realistically, I mean, I'm also subscribed to a lot of MangaTube channels and, people who make content about manga, and I don't see enough people talking about series that are more unknown. I only really see people, for the most part, talking about the most popular series, Shonen Jump series, or even if, people do read like seinen series, it's always just, Vagabond, Berserk, Naoki Urasawa, which are great, that's fine content and everything like that. But what I look for in other channels, which is actually another question on here, but I might as well cover it now. I'm looking for series that I'd never heard before, series that are underappreciated and underread, just to add to my collection. I think there's I really value channels like that, even just the smallest channels. Some channels I'm subscribed to only have like a couple of hundred subscribers, and they're some of my favorite channels because they cover alternative manga, Gekiga titles, old, manga from the 80s, 70s, 60s. That's the content that I like making, and that's what I would hope people would get out of my channel, which I'm aware, there's a few of my viewers who watch my channel or have watched my channel for a number of years, and that's helped them, that's helped inspire them to kind of go off of the beaten track and discover series that they would have never otherwise touched had I not talked about them. I feel a sense of pride and accomplishment in that, because that's what I'm looking for in other channels as well. So that's what I want people to get out of my channel, to broaden the horizons, look outside the box a little bit, and discover and realize that there's so much more out there beyond just your kind of standard set popular titles, which that's fine. Everybody kind of has that gateway kind of shonen manga or anime that they get into, just like with me. And dependent on how much you dedicated and invested in reading manga, I suppose it really depends, because if you're not, if it's just kind of like a throwaway hobby for you, then you might not be interested in reading more obscure titles. Similarly with any other interest, if you're really into music and you just kind of listen to popular music, but you just kind of listen to it in the background, you're not that dedicated to it, you're probably not going to be that enthusiastic about exploring underground artists and things like that. So I understand why people kind of just stick to the straight and narrow and just your kind of standard shonen series and popular series, which is fine, but it would be nice to see people exploring a little bit more, because also it helps the industry, promoting and talking about series that are otherwise unknown or nobody's talking about, makes people go out and buy them. And that helps publishers, that helps the artists, that helps the industry, and gives incentive for publishers to publish series that are a lot more obscure, because then they have more confidence then that people will go out and buy it if people are on YouTube and wherever else talking about it. So that's fundamentally what I want people to get out of my channel. I think I want people to kind of broaden the horizons when they watch my content, and I would hope that that happens, because that's the kind of content that I look for as well. Question 8. What other hobbies do you have outside of manga? I also game. PlayStation 4. If anybody wants to add me, I'll put my my PlayStation Network account in the description below. I also read like novels. I'm currently reading Lady of the Lake by Andrzej Sapkowski. Massive fan of the Witcher game, so I've just finished reading the first chapter. So I read prose fiction. I also recently got into cooking. Really enjoying cooking at the moment. So yeah, that's I'm actually pretty good at cooking. I was surprised with myself. I made a really nice casserole the other day and I was quite proud of it. So I mean, usually, had it not been for the lockdown, I also like exercising. I like going for long walks, hiking. I really like going up my bike. I like driving. I like driving to new cities and kind of, exploring around. So, yeah, hobbies. Question 9. What's next on your to-read list? I'm currently reading Dream Fossil by Satoshi Kon. There you go. I have I can't reach it. I have a TBR jar. I kind of talk more about it in another video when I do a specific video for my TBR. But I've got a system set up where I've got 3 jars, one for TBR, one for red, and another one for re-TBR. And I've got every single series that I own written down on little pieces of paper, just crumpled up, and then when I want to pick out a new series, pick out a piece of paper out of the jar, and there we go, So, the last time I did that, I picked out Dream Fossil, so I'm really enjoying it. I'll talk more about it, obviously, when I do a video on it specific to that. Question 10. What are you looking for in other manga channels? The same kind of content that I like creating. As I was mentioning before, I really like channels that talk about series that I that I either haven't read or I've never heard of, or are just way off the beaten track. I don't want to watch a review of a manga that everyone and their grandma has already read, like One Piece or Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. I think, you know, that cow's been beaten to death already. You know, it's fine if it's fine if you're into that content. You know, I'm not hating on that content at all. You know, there's a market for it, and you know, it's really great that it exists. I'm glad that manga and anime are becoming much more mainstream and much more popular. You know, with these flagship series, like, you know, I know like Demon Slayer is absolutely killing it now on manga sales, and that's fantastic. I don't have anything against Demon Slayer, I just don't have an interest in reading it. But it's awesome to know that that these kind of gateway series, you know, like it was the big three originally, you know, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. I'm glad that there's a new generation of this and that it's continuing, and that manga isn't something that's seemingly going away. It's not a fad. So I'm really happy with the growth in popularity. But the kind of stuff that I want to see other channels making is just broaden your horizons. You know, I just take a leap of faith and read a series, or pick up a series when, you know, if you go to your Barnes and Noble or your Forbidden Planet or just your local bookstore, take a gamble and just pick up a series that you know nothing about and just have a flick through it, see if it picks your interest. You're not losing anything by doing that. Maybe a bit of time if it's going to be a, you know, a shit series. Or, you know, go to your local library. I know obviously, you know, lockdowns in various countries are probably preventing that, but oh, that's another thing I like watching as well. People doing manga shopping videos. Something about that's really interesting, because it feels like I'm going shopping. I made one myself. I'll put that in the description below as well if you fancy watching that. But yeah, no, I generally, really, any manga content. I am very much an exclusively manga channel. I don't really watch much anime, if any at all. The only anime that I watch are really series that I've already watched before and maybe need to rewatch again. My time is very much dedicated to my manga at the moment, and yeah, I just simply don't really have the same amount of time to dedicate to watching anime. I do like anime, but I'm much more interested in manga and the experience of reading manga. So channels that focus really exclusively on manga, you know, generally I'm subscribed to them. I'm subscribed to a lot of manga exclusive channels. But that, yeah, I mean, I would just encourage anybody to make whatever content they feel comfortable with. At the end of the day, you know, if you got an audience that's either 100 or 100,000, it doesn't matter. I think what's important is that you're doing something that you're passionate about, and you're talking about something that you're passionate about, and spreading the word of, you're spreading the word on series that you feel that other people should, you know, read, whether that be One Piece or The Ice Wanderer by Jiro Taniguchi. You know, it doesn't matter. But that's the kind of content that I want to see from other channels, series that I haven't heard of before and can put on my wish list for considering to read. So there we go. Question 11 isn't really a question, it's just tagging people. Now, I would tag people, but the people who I would tag were already tagged in the video that Laura posted. So I would just say that if you're a content creator watching this, then consider yourself tagged. You know, I just like participating and making a video on stuff that I love. So if you feel so inclined to follow my lead, then I'll put all the questions in the description below, along with credit to the original tag poster, somebody called Christy Lou. And thank you again, Manga Hoarder, for tagging me. It was really nice of you. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. Ciao.